been presenting the One Show back in the Middle Ages, our studio wouldn't be decorated with this wonderful white wonder. We'd have had a pile of this. Mistletoe.
We would have been better off for that, I think. Anyway,
Yeah.
Christine has been looking at the history of mistletoe and its magic, and she did say that this was the best day's filming she ever had.
Oh.
Christmas just wouldn't be Christmas without a sprig or two of mistletoe, steeped in history and mystical power.
Let's face it, it must have something going for it, or why else would you lock her up under a parasite?
In most of Britain it's rare, but in the Midlands and South West, in the counties of Herefordshire, Worcestershire, Gloucestershire and Somerset, conditions are perfect and it thrives. The market town of Tenbury Wells is widely recognised as the Mistletoe Capital.
It grows in this unmistakable spherical habit, has forked branches, paired leaves and white sticky berries.
There are over 1,400 tree parasites in the world, but Viscum album, or mistletoe, is the only aerial parasite in Britain.
It's a hemiparasite, a partial parasite of tree branches.
Right.
So it relies on the host tree for water and nutrients. It doesn't have any roots of its own, can't grow in the ground, has to grow on a branch of another woody tree.
And why so much round here?
It's partly a climatic thing. It likes the climate here, it particularly likes the winters and the summers and the temperatures, but it's particularly also the fact that its favourite host tree is here. Apple trees, cultivated apple trees, are its favourite by far.
And that makes for easier harvesting too. The trees tend not to be too high so they can be reached by machine, poles or by hand. But due to mild weather earlier in the year, there's now a glut of mistletoe, which could potentially lead to a lower yield of apples next year.
The only way to control the mistletoe is to cut it out.
And would you take all of it?
It depends on the what you're taking out. There's both female and male types of mistletoe.
How do you tell the difference?
The berries. Female mistletoe has berries whilst male doesn't.
Oh, so glorious females!
Yes.
In this corner of the Midlands, mistletoe is big business. If you find yourself smooching under some this Christmas, there's a strong chance it was harvested here. For over 100 years, the town of Tenbury Wells has held mistletoe auctions and sold it by the ton. It's a plant of myth and legend. The Norse, Greeks, Romans and Druids all had their own mistletoe traditions and romantic stories handed down through the generations.
Our Druid ancestors would have seen this amazing plant growing on a dormant winter tree and they'd have gone, wow, that must surely be a gift from the gods. It's magical, it's sacred.
And don't we have the Druids to blame for all this kissing under the mistletoe?
I would like to think so, yes. But basically mistletoe is an ancient fertility plant. It was used in a lot of things. I mean, there's a theory that it can actually stimulate ovulation, but don't try it at home.
It's a mysterious plant. Some people say it cures sterility. Others that it counteracts poisons. But it's the absolute pulling power of mistletoe every year that captivates us. One look and your lips start to moisten.
I've had plenty of snogs under the mistletoe, but don't tell my husband.
No, they used to go missing whenever I got the mistletoe out.
So what's your experience of kissing under the mistletoe?
Not a lot really, just look at me, but you look all right.
Hey, well, come on.
There we go. Get in there, Christine.
The opportunity.
Yes, of course.
Of course.
Shall we move on?